mysterious island, a woman wakes up with amnesia, holding only a shell. When she blows it, another woman appears with a knife. Things get tense until a man named Cooper arrives, explaining that others are scattered along the shore in identical clothes. Gathering together, they discover their names on their clothing labels. The shell lady is Chase, and the knife lady is Casey. Chase, Brody, and Donovan go searching for clues, retrieving everyone's unique starting items. While the main group builds a fire and Taylor finds a book titled The Mysterious Island, Donovan convinces the group to swim. Tragedy strikes when sharks appear, and Donovan is dragged away. Meanwhile, Chase and Brody find a waterfall. Brody attempts to assault Chase, but she defends herself with a knife and flees. Returning to camp, Brody tries to seize leadership, but Chase arrives and exposes his actions. The group is divided on who to believe. That night, Chase dreams of a room, a gun, and blood. The next morning, she finds Donovan washed up alive but injured. She uses her shell to signal the others, and they bring him to camp. Afterward, the group remains split. Brody wants to move inland for safety, while Cooper insists on staying by the shore to wait for rescue. Chase interrupts, claiming they must leave because Mason and Hayden are acting strangely. The duo explains they found a pattern. Exactly 39 steps separate each person's arrival point. Following this logic, they find a sign reading, "Find your way back." Frustrated when the group ignores the clue, Chase smashes her shell, unknowingly revealing a barcode labeled Property of Island and a blinking device. While the others rest, Chase spots an inflatable raft at sea. Despite cutting her foot on glass and attracting sharks, she reaches the raft, finding medical supplies, bullets, and a locked box. She hides the haul but shows Cooper a gum packet marked 39. Tensions peak when Cooper and Brody fight. Brody steals Chase's knife to threaten the group, finally revealing his instability before fleeing. During a storm, the group shelters in the raft while Chase dreams of shooting a woman in a room. Later, she uses the blinking device and the code 39 to unlock the box, finding a gun. Meanwhile, Hayden realizes Brody attacked Casey in the woods. Chase and Cooper eventually discover a large, abandoned hotel with running water, but the group blames Chase for the constant infighting and exiles her. After another recurring dream of the dying woman, Chase is dragged to the beach to find Brody murdered with her knife. The group accuses her of the crime. During the struggle, Casey knocks Chase unconscious. Chase wakes up paralyzed in a sterile room, where a silent nurse administers an injection, leaving her questions unanswered. Chase wakes in a medical facility where a doctor releases her from a magnetic force field. She is taken to Warden Wells, who reveals she is in a high-tech prison. The island was merely a simulation designed to test whether criminals would change their morals if their memories were erased. Wells mentions Chase has military training and is the first subject to wake up prematurely. Unwilling to return to the simulation, Chase fights off guards and a nurse in a desperate escape attempt, but she is eventually cornered and knocked out. She is placed in a cell where magnetic forces pin her to the wall. Later, she meets the scientists behind the nature versus nurture experiment. They debate her fate while Wells takes her to lunch, admitting he only tolerates the simulation for government funding. He also confirms that dying in the simulation results in real-world death, noting that the deceased Brody was a murderer and abuser. When the scientists decide to send her back, Chase resists but is captured and punished by Wells' guards. A scientist secretly visits Chase to warn her that Wells is tampering with the results. During a subsequent prisoner transfer, Chase overpowers a guard, jumps from a truck, and sneaks into a restricted building. Disguised in a stolen lab coat, she enters a central chamber and discovers the other island inhabitants floating in stasis tanks, their bodies wired into the system. Wells and his men capture Chase, and she is forcibly reconnected to the simulation. She awakens on the beach tied up, remembering the prison, but the group dismisses her claims as delusions. However, her words trigger a violent memory for Hayden of a targeted murder. The group is soon interrupted by two newcomers, Bonnie and Clyde, who chase suspects, are agents of the warden. The duo reveals they are enforcers for the prison's rules, confirming that the prisoners signed waivers allowing their execution if they kill within the simulation. Clyde reveals Chase's past. She was a vigilante who murdered abusers, including Brody. As the memory wipes are reversed, Chase recalls shooting a woman and retrieves her hidden gun. Bonnie and Clyde direct the survivors toward a village on the island, warning that leaving is forbidden. As the group splits, their true memories return in horrifying flashes. Mason remembers a mass shooting, Casey recalls a mental breakdown, and Blair remembers performing unauthorized euthanasia as a nurse. Bonnie and Clyde watch from the shadows, declaring, "Let the games begin." Blair's memories reveal she was a nurse who lethally tampered with patient IVs. When Taylor ignores warnings and escapes on the raft, Blair alerts the group, but they are too late. Meanwhile, Moses recalls his past as a rebel whose protest bombing accidentally killed several people. Casey suffers a devastating breakdown as she remembers the truth. Driven to a mental snap by her abusive husband, Rick, she drove her car into the sea, killing her 2 sons. Moses comforts her, and they decide to find Chase. Nearby, Donovan remembers his crime, murdering a coworker who reported him for harassment. Tensions rise when Mason finds a flare gun and begins firing it, while Cooper overhears Bonnie and Clyde plotting to break the rules for a mysterious boss. Chase returns to the hotel and confronts a hallucination of her mother, who accuses Chase of murdering her. Defiant, Chase finds a key to room 39, uncovering photos of a house and a picture of her hugging Cooper. When Cooper appears, they realize they were a happy couple in the real world. Elsewhere, Taylor shipwrecks on a second island labeled Two-Land. After eating soup left for her, she is confronted by Bonnie and Clyde. They reveal she broke the rules by trying to leave and inform her that the island's sole resident is a cannibal. Horrifically, they explain the soup she just consumed was made from her own severed fingers. In the evening, Casey hallucinates her son burning the village, forcing Moses to pull her from real flames ignited by Bonnie and Clyde. Meanwhile, Chase and Cooper piece together their shared history. They met in the Marines, fought in a war together, and moved to a ranch owned by Chase's mother after Cooper was scarred in an explosion. Though Chase fears she killed her mother, Cooper believes they were framed. Their memories are haunted by the old woman, who in life was a cruel mother who demanded Chase be strong yet mocked her military career. At the beach, Donovan's obsession with Blair turns deadly. Jealous of Mason, he strangles him. Blair discovers the body, fakes an interest in Donovan to get close, and kills him with a flare gun. Casey and Moses eventually reach the hotel and find the couple. A tense standoff triggers a final memory for Cooper. Chase's mother had refused to extend the lease on their farm, mercilessly insulting the couple's struggles and Cooper's injuries, which drove him to a state of blind rage. Cooper's memory returns fully. In a struggle over a gun, he accidentally shot Chase's mother and framed it as a break-in. In the present, this vision causes him to accidentally fire his gun, killing Moses. As a distraught Casey mourns, Bonnie and Clyde arrive to enforce the rules, resulting in a brutal 4-way fight. During the chaos, Chase accidentally kills Bonnie while trying to hit Clyde, and Clyde manages to stab Chase before he and Bonnie vanish from the simulation. Bleeding out, Chase wakes in the real-world prison. Dr. Weiss explains that Cooper's confession exonerated her, removing her from death row. She reveals that Bonnie and Clyde were rogue marshals removed for tampering with the results. Warden Wells tries to intervene, but Weiss blocks him, implying he is under investigation. When Chase meets a psychiatrist, she learns her real name is Gabriella and that the prisoners entered the simulation voluntarily to escape death row, though no one has ever truly achieved redemption. Wells, admitting he sabotaged the program because he believes the prisoners are irredeemable, offers Chase a deal. He will pull Cooper out of the simulation so she can take revenge if she keeps quiet about his crimes. Chase agrees. Meanwhile, the scientists discover that the gun and the cannibal were unauthorized additions by Wells. 39, the recurring code, is revealed to be the number of steps from the cell block to the electric chair. As Chase prepares to leave, a guard captures her for Wells to execute, but Dr. Weiss intervenes. Wells is hauled away, screaming that the scientists are still hiding things. Before Chase is released, Weiss gives her a final injection that shatters her mental illusion. Chase is actually an old woman who has been in prison for 25 years. The simulation merely used an avatar of her younger self from the time of the crime. Realizing Cooper is also old and still trapped on the island, Chase steps out into a world that has changed drastically over 3 decades. Meanwhile, Wells wakes up on the island, greeted by Casey and Cooper.